Hello and welcome to Today in the News on Vanguard Live. I am Precious Chukudi. We begin with the front pages of the papers, starting off with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with 2024 budget under threat as oil price drops to $76.53 per barrel. Rather says oil output to fall 7.4% to 1.25 million per barrel, and that's coming from New Pearl. Oil theft still affecting output, and that's coming from NNPC. Minister of State Oil remains positive. Experts make case for more investment diversification. On page 22, fresh outbreak of COVID-19 hits Benue. Uh, BPE to take LMA petrochemical to market in 2024, and that's come from Okon. Competent leadership vital for Nigeria's progress, and that's come from Jonathan Obi. Others will improve health sector through increased funding, and that's coming from Tinubu. Electricity, a federal government unveils plan to unbundle TCN into two entities. Airlines to compensate passengers for delay cancelled flights in 2024, and that's come from the aviation minister. Rivers Assembly crisis, court orders Edison to preside. Powerful Nigerians involved in illegal mining, funding banditry, terrorism, and that's coming from ALAKE. And that's all we can take on Vanguard. Let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian is leading with NAFDAC counterfeit drugs market booms amid a staff shortage, poor funding. You can see an infographic showing more on that story. Israel-Hamas war, still a long way to two-state solution peace. Government to unbundle TCN considers the gas pricing in Naira. Federal government backtracked, admits powerful Nigerians behind illegal mining terrorism. Akeredolu transmits power to Ayedatiwa, begins medical leave. Rivers Assembly crisis, court gives the AES faction go ahead to resume sitting. Army sacks a brigade commander over Adamawa police headquarter invasion. Kwasu converts PMS vehicles to electric engines. And that's how we can take on the Guardian. Let's take a look at the Nation newspaper. The Nation is leading with electricity crisis. Government to sell off a 40% investment in discos. Nikon Element petrochemical shares for sale. TCN may be unbundled. Rivers Assembly row deepens. Federal government to pump $2.5 billion into primary health care in 3 years. How to show up Nigeria's foreign exchange by Finance Minister. Stories above. Influential Nigerians behind illegal mining. Labour flays Minister's proposal on 17 trillion naira pension funds. Akeredolu transmits power to Lucky Aiyedatiwa. And last year on the front page of the Nation, 10 dead, 7 injured in Lagos-Ibadan Expressway auto crash. We take a look at the Punch newspaper. The Punch is leading with Ondo crisis. Deputy takes over as Akeredolu returns to Germany for treatment. The writer says alien governor to transmit letters to lawmakers. Tinubu meets Ondo leaders again. Assembly holds a closed door session. Akeredolu promises full recovery before returning. Tinubu begs Nigerian doctors abroad to return. A Rivers government kill 4 soldiers, 2 drivers, kidnap expatriates. Over 5,000 Nigerians killed since May, and that's come from a report. You can read more on page 30. Senate condemns the Trade Ministry over 1 billion naira Geneva trip. Stories above. Court bars pro-Wike speaker. APC demands a sanction for George. Federal government plans sale of a 40% stake in Disco's orders. And last year, in front page of the Punch newspaper, federal government probes use of foreign prisoners as construction workers. And that's all we can take on the front pages of the papers this morning. Join us after the break. We'll be right back. Alright, welcome back to this joining us today in the news on Vanguard Live. I am Precious Chukudi, and joining us to talk about some of the stories on the front pages of the papers this morning is Mr. Agbero Olaji, the Executive Director of Emergency and Risk Alerts. Good morning, sir. It's good to have you join me this morning. Alright, let's delve in, and of course we're looking at Rivers State crisis. As at the start of the week, what we had was 27 lawmakers defecting to APC, of which it caused like some uproar, in the state. I would like to get your own opinion on that.
In politics of butter and bread, you forget this type of character, who forgets so quickly that they are elected to represent people, and not to be dancing to drum of shame, being beaten by a man in Abuja. That is exactly what is going on in Rivers State. That has gone to show, has confirmed the veracity of confession to electoral crime by former Governor Wike, who said that he bought form for all of them before they could go to the National Assembly, including the governor, including every contestant under PDP during election, that he bought form for them. That on its own is a crime, electoral crime, that has not been punished. But rather than punishing him, prosecuting him, arresting and prosecuting him for such crime, he was rewarded with a ministerial appointment. And that ministerial appointment has become his asylum today. Somebody that should be facing electoral crime prosecution by the virtue of his self-confession. And that same person is creating crisis in Rivers State today. And we are looking as if it has no starting point. These are issues we have been talking about our democracy. We either practice democracy, government of the people, by the people, and for the people, or we jettison it. Why did we chase the military away if this is what democracy is going to become? Those are the questions we should be asking ourselves, pondering on as Nigerians, as people with democratic civilization. But we are not even looking at all those sides. We are looking at them. One is fighting the other undemocratically. The man is an inferior version of Hitler, and that is what is playing out now. We didn't check him ordinarily. If he had not been appointed as a minister today, he will be facing serious economic crime cases in court. So the 24 people that he camped has betrayed the confidence reposed on them by those who elected them, the Rivers State people that elected them. And by the virtue of that defection, they have consequently lost their seats in the Parliament of Rivers State. That is the position of law, and it has been asserted by the court. The only condition by which you could defect from a party that elected you, that gave you the platform for your election, to another, is when there is crisis in that political party. And I have said it, you can't just create crisis in your political party and turn back around, turn again to become the beneficiary of that crisis you have ignited or created yourself. So that is not the that is not the conception of the Nigerian Constitution when it says that there must be division, crisis in your political party before you can legitimately decamp from one party to another as an elected representative of the people. That is the position of law. And that is sacrosanct. And if there is no legitimate division in your political party, you have no right, whether it's legal right or moral right, to betray the confidence of those who have elected you based on the platform of a political party. And we should let it sink in our mind that elections in Nigeria are contested by political parties and not individual. That is why during election you don't see the photographs of individual there. You see the signs, symbols of political parties. So you can't just jettison the platform. It's not an individual thing, it's a mandate. Those are mandates held in trust for the people, for the electorate. You can't despise those who elected you because you somebody somewhere is asking you to do something. And beyond that, who is paying for all these criminalities, assault and disruption that is going on in Rivers State?
All right, Mr. Benro.
And it's just starting.
Yes. All right, Mr. Benro. Yesterday, Rivers State High Court sitting in Port Harcourt had ordered the factional speaker of the State House, Edison, to preside over the activities of the legislative arm of the state, pending the determination of a motion before it. What's your take on what the court has said?
Well, and that is one error I have to correct in the media. When a court has validated a position, it's not a fashionable speaker. He is the speaker and not the fashionable one, because the court has said so. When the court has said so, that he has full right of occupying the position of speaker, performing the duties and responsibility of speakers, including convening the House and the members to carry out legislative duty and assignments. So he's the speaker, and I think he's living up to that responsibility. And they are meeting currently in the House, in Rivers State House of Assembly. As a matter of fact, they have declared the Rivers State House of Assembly has declared the 27 seats vacant. Indeed, and in law today, there are 6 members in Rivers State House of Assembly. The 6 of others have been declared vacant. I think the next thing to do now is to write INEC informing them of vacancies in Rivers State House of Assembly, and INEC should conduct further election. And I'm equally aware that the governor is preparing to deliver his budget address today, present the budget to the House.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Gbero, from yesterday, what transpired from yesterday up until this morning, we saw the demolition going on at the State House of Assembly. There have been various conversations on that. Some people are saying is as a result of the bond part of the House of Assembly the other time, and some people are saying that it's the governor's way of fighting back. If the place is being brought down, there'll be no place for the other lawmakers to have their sittings and all of that. What can you say as regards that?
Well, it's a fact that the house, part of the house was burnt, and it is a fact that if you have to repair that place, maybe some little demolition has to take place. I don't have all the facts, but what the governor of the state government says is that they want to repair that House of Assembly. Whether for political reason or for genuine reason, you can't fault the fact that the part of the place has been burned down, and repairing such place has become imperative. So I think the government might use that to take advantage of the crisis so as to forestall others invading the place. I think that is what is going on in Rivers State now. So I think, but this let us get it right, that both those who committed the sin of burning that place and even the repairer now, what is it going for? Is it not the public fund they are going to use? Do we need, because of somebody that is a megalomaniac, do we need to be going through this, wasting public funds on what has been completed, has been delivered, and has been in use for a long time, because of peculiar interests of an individual who has spent his own time in Rivers State? The former governor, Wike, is the architect of this problem. You can't eat your cake and have it. You said on press that you brought Senlanare to power. Is that democracy in its own, on its own? Then you can remove. Well, then where is the democracy? Where is the people in this equation? So this shenanigan must stop. Every structure of godfatherism must be destroyed in Nigerian democracy, whether in Rivers, whether in Ondo, whether at federal level. Nigerian people must begin to engage the democratic process, begin to own democracy, and begin to practice democracy. And they must become the leading voice in our democratic expedition and experiment.
All right, Mr. Gbero, I would like you to elaborate on, the problems of godfatherism in Nigeria. As you, earlier mentioned, Wike had said he bought, the ticket for this lawmakers. Even said, he bought the ticket for Simeon, and we see that there's some sort of, like I own you type of power that's going on there. I'd like you to speak more on that.
Where did Wike get the money? He has no history of enterprise. Neither he has carried out any business since he graduated. Where did he get money? And we are talking of money running into billion. We are talking of funds for individuals that run into 25 million. In the House, This house alone, you have about 33 people. You have 20 something in the National Assembly. You have not to talk of other senator and others, deputy governor, the governor, and others that are not even there. Where did they get the money from? This is and to even self-confess is a crime against our electoral system. Is there any arrested for that? That shows the level of impunity, and he did that for his own selfish interest, and that is what is playing out now to become godfather of all of them in River State. River people should not allow that to happen. It doesn't defeat the standard of the standard of exposure of people of River State. This is River State that has produced a lot of prominent Nigerians that you can be proud of, including the late Caribbean whites. They are the first people that has exposure with the West, and a tiny tyrant is doing this to them and to their land because he has the misfortune of governing them as a governor. He has finished in his time. He should get it right. He can't force himself, and I like what is going on today. Maybe other godfather will learn from that. You can't breathe down on others, even though you bring them to power as we do in Nigerian democracy, which is self anti-democratic. So in order to capture them, to begin to dictate, to carry out his will, which are not in tandem with the purpose of power for the people of River State. That is why he did all that. He was not a humanitarian person. He was never generous. This is character that went to Sokoto and donated River State money when market bought. Which budget line will capture that? That is a crime against the people of River State, using their own money for other states. It's because we don't hold people to account in Nigeria. That is why all these things continue to happen, and we overlook them. At times I get agitated, I get frustrated about situation and procedures of governance in Nigeria. And it has become a situation of the slave and the slave master. That is what is going on in River State, and they should resist that and come out of the slave camp that an individual has put them. So to that extent, I appreciate what is going on, and the governor, if he's going to, he has been a beneficiary of this godfatherism. But then, if he's determined to fight against it now, so that we end up the reign of godfatherism in Nigeria, I will stand by him.
All right, let's move on and talk about this. Now, ALAKE has alleged that powerful Nigerians are involved in illegal mining and sponsoring banditry and terrorism in the country. What are your thoughts?
Whoever alleged must prove. So he doesn't know the name of the powerful Nigeria. Why is he saying it? That is outright nonsense. If you know their name them. You are in power, you are in government, you have all the resources to bring them to book. Why are you deceiving Nigeria? This has been the type of lies that people are doing, where they are incompetent in the job given to them and they can't perform it. We have stated this several times. Look, there's what I used to call the mine violence in Zamfara State, because of gold there. Some criminals have taken hold of mining, creating havoc, harming criminals, and non-state harm actors in that environment. So it's not a new thing. It's not setting a new thing. It's just creating an idea for its non-performance. If it's unable to perform, it will blame it on anonymous powerful Nigerians. Powerful Nigeria, is that a name? Name the criminals, arrest them, and then get them prosecuted. Who is it deceiving? So when he fails now, he will be saying that it's because of powerful Nigeria, invisible powerful Nigerians that are sponsoring violence, and you have a government that has responsibility to create society of order and peace, and is doing nothing about that. And you have a government that is expected or supposedly having monopoly of violence, and you have some people, extra government bodies, non-state actors sharing that space with government, and you are doing nothing about it. So if you can't perform his duty, he should leave his duty. All these excuses, all this characterization of so-called hostile environment without doing anything about them, it's not going to take us anywhere. You have been appointed, perform or leave the place. Don't tell us the story of powerful Nigerians who are criminals. If you can't name them, if you can't even arrest them, if you can't prosecute them, so what is the value of that information to the general public who are as powerless as anything? You that have power to deal with them, you are complaining. So I should go and arrest powerful Nigerians that has no name. So his information is not valid and it's not needed. His performance is what we want to see. What we want to see is that now we have taken hold of the Safara gold mining thieves, and that it was generating $50 million before. Now, in the last 2 months, we have $100 million. That is the story we want to hear, and not lamentation.
All right, Mr. Gwen, let's touch on Mr. and Mrs. before we go. And Mr. is speaking. He says, I have noticed that for some time now, if I give you 150,000 naira housekeeping allowances, foodstuffs don't last beyond the middle of the month. As they say, every day is for the thief, one day for the owner. And Mrs. replies and says, who is the thief and who is the owner? Because one of them will have to prepare his food henceforth.
Well, Mr. should know that exchange rate has affected everything, and that no amount of money now, if you are expecting what you get before in your pot of soup, you are just deceiving yourself, and except if you pour water into it there, because things are expensive. You know the price of, we are talking of gold now. Has onion not become gold in Nigeria? Is Mr. aware of that? It's even better that Mrs. is the one, if at all, if it's embezzling the house budget fund, it's better than throwing it outside and wasting it. Mr. should reflect on how much he spends on pepper soup outside. He should reflect for nothing, for what they call friendship or whatever now and everything. So you should stop blaming the woman that will go to market, run all kind of errand, and at the same time prepare the soup and food and everything. Is he paying for the way? Is he paying the same way he pays in hotels and this for food that he eats? So let us calm down with ourselves. If the beneficiary, after all, if the wife and this is the one benefit, it will still go around the family. So the same economy we will preserve family economy than the one being wasted outside. So the only thing is that even though Mrs. wants to benefit from it, he should only do it reasonably in a way that it will be so insignificant for Mr. to notice.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Gwen Olajigbe, Executive Director of Emergency and Risk Alert. Thank you for sharing your talk with us this morning.
It's a pleasure being with you. Thank you very much.
Also, remember that you can equally like, share, and subscribe on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. To find out up-to-date stories, go to our website, www.vanguardndia.com, to find out more. I am Precious Chukudi, and thank you for watching.